Hello, welcome to PODnas. This is a sports show with a little Southern and Cajun flair. I'm Daniel Hawks. That's Jared Roser. Today we are doing something. It's a yearly tradition at this point. It is the second annual college football playoff draft brought to you by PODnas. We're going to go through. We're going to pick the playoff teams, our potential playoff teams in this year's college football season. It's going to be super easy. We are going to pick from the four. We're each going to have 8 picks from the 4 Power 4 conferences. And then we're each going to have 2 picks from the lower seeds. Now, throughout that, we're going to be able to call haterade on one of each other's picks if we really hate that team. I did Clemson last year. It didn't work out well for me. Not a lot of stuff does when it comes to me picking sports. But that's why we're here. We're here to do it. Jared, how you doing? I came in hot. I came in swinging. Didn't even let you get a word in. What's up, buddy?
Well, I mean, if our voices are any indication, I'm doing a little bit better today than you are. I want to use a haterade on whatever the hell is going through your system right now, your immune system.
Yeah,
but
it's not great. I sound like Kermit the Frog, so I'm sorry about that to the few people
I think
watching.
You should take that back and show some respect for Kermit, one of our top frogs. Also, if this helps you feel any better, we got, I think, 15 or 11 of the 12 playoff teams between the two of us that we picked last year. And so as ridiculous as we are and as little as we may appear to know at times, we did fairly well, all things considered. But what's good for you is I am somehow less prepared on a national scale than I was this time last year.
Oh, good.
I'm on top of all the Louisiana schools if folks want to go back to those prediction pieces, season previews from the previous episodes. But when it comes to coast, there are not a whole lot of teams outside of state lines that I have a great feel for. And so maybe that opens the door for you to win this one.
Yeah. And do we actually, real quick, I wanted to segue before we get into this draft. Do we want to go over kind of what happened this weekend? Because we did have some Louisiana teams hit the field.
Yeah, sure. Week 0. And so obviously a limited slate, but a few FCS games in particular, a couple involving Louisiana schools. Huge win right off the bat for for Nicholls State to beat your favorite team, Incarnate Word, out there in San Antonio, the reigning Southland champs. The Colonel's defense was fantastic. I think 204 total yards allowed to the Cardinals over the course of the game, 3 interceptions, 1 fumble takeaway. It was messaging with one of the DBs who snatched one of those interceptions later on, a guy that had some 7-on-7 background with the Bootleggers. And he's like, man, that was my first college game. It was a hell of a way to start, bro. Like, you just knocked off a top 5 national ranked team that was your conference champion last year. And so Incarnate Word had won 4 of the last 5 against Nicholls State, with the one exception being in 2023 when Nicholls beat them on their way to a Southland championship. And so a heck of a start to the season for Nicholls, to, Coach Tommy Rybacki's run now as head coach, replacing his predecessor, Timmy Rebo, who he'd worked under for years. My guy, Gabe Fertitta, coming back home to Louisiana as the OC there. Darren Monroe, a former Louisiana high school standout who's on that defensive side of the ball coordinating things. And so awesome for those guys to start in that fashion. Southern was not as fortunate a little later in the day. They come up with a loss, but the kind of big story that a lot of us were following was Trey Hollow, the transfer running back from LSU, had a big day, had an 80-yard touchdown run in the first half, and showed some of his explosiveness. And after all of his time sidelined because of the legal issue that we talked about, a few weeks back when he transferred, it was great to just see some positive momentum for him to get back out there and have something to build on now as he and the Jags go through the season. And they try and correct some of the miscues from the opener, but obviously some pieces are in place there, and one of them is Trey Holly.
Cool. We'll keep you updated on everything going on around the state all football season long. But let's get into it. We are going to do our second annual PODnas draft. We're going to pick each of the playoff teams, who we think is going to get in, maybe a little tidbit why. And then we'll go through them. And then at the very end of it, we'll kind of recap this, and that'll be it for today.
Do you have a coin or anything? I was about to ask, how you wanted to play it. You have your whatever the hell that was nerd thing from last year, your commemorative Captain America token or whatever it was.
It's an Avengers coin, and I really
Sure.
appreciate if you would just.
Is that not the same?
Yeah, shut up. All right. We have my commemorative edition.
What is that? I saw the big A. That's for Ant. That's Ant-Man.
Oh God, you make me so upset. This is going to be.
Who's on the other side? Was that Peter Griffin?
you make me so upset. This is going to be tails. Thanos's glove, not Peter Griffin. You idiot. That is going to be heads. Call in the air.
Peter Griffin.
It's Peter Griffin. It's Thanos' glove. That means you're going to go first. We're going to go back and forth, but you're going to get this first pick. So go
Part
ahead,
of me wants to defer, honestly. But look, let me go ahead and start this thing off with the reigning national champion, Ohio State Buckeyes. I think they're one of a top tier of programs that we feel pretty confidently make it in this field somewhere once again this year. They certainly have some spots they've got to figure out. They've got a young quarterback in Julian Sayin stepping into some big shoes for a team with that type of an expectation. They've got to replace the two NFL-bound running backs from last year's team in Henderson and Judkins. And so this is not last year's team, and they will have to learn themselves a little bit through the course of this season, and obviously have once again an early season showdown with Texas that can be really pivotal for some seeding over the course of the year. But I do think Ohio State by the end of this all gets in, just bringing something a little locally. LSU recruited Julian Sayin during the course of his recruiting process. And he was somebody that when he came and camped at LSU, I was really impressed with both his arm and his just kind of the way he carried himself, demeanor and vibe and whatnot. And so he's someone I know they have high expectations for up there. And I guess I do as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go with Texas. You just mentioned that. I think Arch is going to be, as advertised, a stud. And I think he's going to lead not only him, but the rest of this Texas team. Their defense is nasty. I think it's going to be a really tough team to stop, and it's going to be I think there's a reason that they're number one.
I hate that you got them. I think that was like part of why I wanted to not be number one, is because I thought you might not take them first overall, but that I might get them. And I just have so much confidence in Arch going in there. I think it's another deal where, look, this isn't the same team as last year. They've got a lot of people to replace, and not just Quinn Ewers, but all over the field. But it is a really talented Texas squad once again. I have a ton of confidence in Arch and Coach Sarkisian and company out there in Austin, including, shout out to some Louisiana natives on that staff, have done a really nice job of setting Texas up as one of the consistent top tier type teams, that we expect to see contending pretty much year in and year out for at least a spot in this dance.
1,000%. 1,000%. And next up, I guess it's going to be you now again.
No, so, you go snake it. You go
we're
ahead.
Snaking it. Oh, if we're going to snake it, then I'm going to pick Notre Dame. Actually,
your favorite?
Yeah, my obvious favorite. Man, I just love their coach. And from what we've seen the last couple years, they're just always ready to play. I think they're going to be in there at the very end. I think their schedule is also super easy this year. They get to make that schedule, but there's not a lot of conflict, and I think it's going to get them in there pretty easily.
Yeah, hell of a job that Marcus Freeman has done since taking over for Brian Kelly, and a hell of a run by the Fighting Irish last year. We'll see if they can prove themselves as a consistent championship contender here. But carrying this thing right along, I will go ahead and nab another Big Ten team in Penn State, who I think they're a team that we had watched have so much hype around them every year and have levels of disappointment where people kind of take their shots and make their jokes at James Franklin for shortcomings through the years. But what those shortcomings have been have been, okay, it's still a top 10 team, but can't quite make the 4-team playoff. And now they're situated in this new era of the 12-team playoff, and sooner than later beyond 12 teams,
I think it's
where they're just going to get in the field.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It's like, I don't trust, if we were doing like who is going to win this whole thing, then I would not put Penn State in there. But who's going to make the field? They're definitely going to do it. I think Drew Aller's too good. James Franklin in the regular season is a very good coach. It's just when everything's on the line, something just has not been there in the most recent seasons, and it's a big storyline going into this year.
Yeah, and all of the buzz around Drew Aller has been phenomenal in terms of his development over the last couple of years. He's someone that in some of our previous episodes, when we've talked about sort of like future quarterback classes and guys the Saints could look at, I've kind of knocked him from just what I had seen early on. But there's an awful lot of feeling from people certainly closer to the situation than me, or national scale people, whatnot, about liking what they're seeing in terms of his progression as a college quarterback. And so I believe they've also tried to do a better job of putting some more explosive weapons around him too, to where you can actually get some bigger plays through the passing game than what we have traditionally seen from Penn State. And so if all of these things hold up to just, again, what I'm seeing from other folks covering that team more regularly, I feel good about them getting into this field again. And then I can't go farther without getting some SEC team here. I'm not going to go without an SEC team of some sort. And so I will go ahead and take Georgia, who
you dumb MFer.
Who obviously they've established themselves as one of those teams.
I was just looking up because I was like, I'm going to grab Georgia on the next turn.
You anticipate Kirby Smart and those guys to
I mean, that honestly, pisses me off. I'm going to be honest. That just really grinded my gears.
Back to Peter Griffin. A little shout out to the to the coin god. Georgia has become, under Kirby, one of those teams that you expect to be, if not a top championship contender year in, year out, certainly a top 10 team year in and year out. And so, yeah, with Texas off the board in particular, Georgia is as good of a pick from the SEC as any to feel comfortable and confident about their making the field somewhere.
Absolutely. All right. So I got 2 picks now, right? I guess I'm going to take, I'll take Clemson. Listen, they're just such a good team. Cade Klubnik is such a good quarterback, possibly the number 1 quarterback overall. They're just solid all over the place in every facet of the game. So, and if we're talking about teams that are going to get in there, do I necessarily think that Clemson is going to be able to take home a national championship? I do not. That's why I also am going to just go ahead and head in here. My second pick is going to be LSU, so I can have them. Because I do think that this LSU team, I think there's something special brewing, but that's just me. And I think it starts by making a statement in the very first game in fake Death Valley in Clemson, South Carolina. So those are my 2 teams. I think there's a possibility. Would love to see a home. I would love to see a home playoff game at either one of these places come November, December.
Yeah, I love the picks. There's a chance that those would have been my next 2 if you had taken 2 others, depending on which other 2 you'd taken. I think Clemson's winning the ACC. Our LSU season preview, obviously I expressed all of my concern for LSU having to go to Clemson to start the season. It's a veteran Clemson team that returns a ton and has a lot of continuity and a lot of firepower on both sides of the ball. And LSU, even despite my concerns with that game, I said I think probably ends up getting into the playoff picture somewhere. There's a ton of talent, ton of experience. Brian Kelly talked today in his press conference about, this is Monday afternoon, we're recording this, about finding the right guys in the portal and being able to plug in the necessary holes and having guys that have been through some battles, like a Braylon Moore at center from Virginia Tech, who played at Clemson last year, for the Hokies. And so there's a lot to like about both those sets of Tigers for sure. I will go ahead and take.
By the way, this will be picks 4 and 5 for you. So after this, we'll have 3 left. You'll have 3 left. I'll have 4 as well, just to give a little update
of the power
of the power.
Teams.
Yeah. Before we go to a couple mid majors.
I will go ahead and take. I'm going to take Bama as 1. I know they are a team that is being. Look, there's years where you think Bama probably shouldn't have made the cut, and they still somehow do. So I'm just going to take that and have that be on my side with this. But I do think this is going to be a pretty good Bama team. Obviously, you lose a lot of the positives that Jalen Milroe brought with his athleticism and whatnot, but you could see from the Alabama fan base, a lot of folks there that were ready for a little bit of a different look at quarterback, some to find some more consistency through the passing game and some of those things. And they seem to feel like they may have the right guy to manage a really talented team in Ty Simpson. And obviously the youngster Keelan Russell, we expect to probably get some playing time along the way as well. Ryan Williams is ridiculous. He was ridiculous last year as a 17-year-old freshman.
As long as they have Ryan Williams, they have a shot to win every single Saturday they step on the field. He's that good.
He's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so, I'll take the Crimson Tide with my 4th pick. I will go ahead and I'll take the Oregon Ducks with my 5th pick.
Haterade! I'm doing it. This is where I'm going. I was literally waiting. I think Oregon's going to have a big drop-off this year. And while we have former Tulane running back Mekhi Hughes,
Mekhi's a beast, dude.
He is.
I'm glad I have him.
Their quarterback there, it's between Dante Moore and Austin Novosad. And I just usually when there are teams that have, and we've seen this with LSU a couple times, when you come in and you're not sure at quarterback, and I feel like they're going to have to maybe even rotate games, rotate plays. I just really don't find that that's a usual key for success. And usually I find those teams underperform because there's no real lead in the locker room. So that's why I'm going with them as my haterade pick. Oregon will not make it.
That's fair. Look,
rules.
The old coaching adage is if you have 2 quarterbacks, that means you don't have 1 quarterback. And there's a lot to be said for that on the field and in the locker room. I do have a lot of confidence in Dan Lanning and the job he's done so far with that program. I do love Mekhi Hughes. He was phenomenal the last 2 years uptown. And, I think Oregon has continued to do a nice job on the recruiting trail and just kind of restocking some spots. And, that's my 5th pick. I'm sticking to it, obviously.
I love that. All right. I'm going to go 2 in a row now, and I'm going to pick Arizona State University. They're not slipping through the cracks this year.
That was the one we missed last year.
Sam Levitt and company. It's just a fun team. Dillingham is such a fun coach. And, he's an alumni from there. I think he's got that program going in the right direction. I think you see him take another step behind Sam Levitt and at quarterback, who's, on a lot of people's list right now. And then next up, I am going to pick South Carolina. I'm very high on South Carolina this year. Lenore Sellers, I think is going to be maybe not win it, but I think he'll be at the Heisman ceremony at the end of this year. Expecting big things from them over there in South Carolina.
Nice. Question as we get deeper into this. So last year when we did it, we didn't have to go the 8 power and then the 2 non. We had to each get that many, but we could take the non whenever we wanted.
Yeah.
How do you care?
Yeah. No, I don't. Go ahead. If you want one of yours right now, let's do it.
You're let's
go.
Go ahead with your 6th. Go ahead with your 6th pick and go and take.
Listen, I'm in fantasy football draft mode, so this is just echoing to that. I'm basically using this as a mock draft right now.
So yeah, I will go ahead and take one of my non-power conference teams, and I wore this shirt for a reason. It's because I wanted the Tulane Green Wave to be on my roster of teams. And so, look, we talked about it with a couple of other teams at the top. This is not last year's Tulane team. We talked about it during the season preview. There are a lot of places that they have to replace and rely on some new faces. They really went out into the portal and tried to address a lot of that. They feel like they've got some good talent in there. I trust the leadership of this program as much as any program in the country. And so with an American conference where I think some of their other top contenders maybe take a little bit more of a step back, I'm going to go ahead and go with Tulane and have them be one of my non-power conference teams here. We said it last year, dude. How awesome would that be? Would love to see it for those guys to get in.
Absolutely.
And for my 7th pick, I will go ahead and take Miami to be kind of my almost like the handcuff to your Clemson pick. If something goes wrong for Clemson, can Miami win the ACC? I think they're going to be really good again. I do think Clemson is the pick of the ACC, and so I was disappointed you got them, but I'll go ahead and take the Hurricanes at my 7th pick overall.
All right. So I'm going to I'm going to finish up my power 4 right now, and I'm going to go with SMU and Louisville.
Nice. Yeah.
So I think Louisville is a little bit of a dark horse with Miller Moss.
I agree.
And that was my little. I wanted to make sure I got in there. SMU, I'm really going to be honest with you. I do not have a lot of insight or know much about their team, but I really, Kirk Starming with the colors in the uniform. So I picked.
Pony up.
Yeah, pony up. Let's go. I can't give any analysis at all about them because I did not do any. So I don't know why that's so funny to me. But I do really think that this Louisville team with Miller Moss coming over from USC could have a really, really good passing attack. Not the first time we've seen a Louisville squad have a very lethal passing attack. And I think that could let them surprise a lot of people in the ACC, including maybe getting one over either a Miami or Clemson to kind of vault them into, maybe at least the ACC championship game. And with this new playoff format, that may be all that they need to kind of sneak in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm starting to look and realize I should probably haterade somebody that you've picked because we're getting pretty late in this thing. And I just don't know who, because I got to be honest with you, I like what's happening on the Daniel Hawks roster this year.
Right.
You're getting some folks right ahead of where I was hoping that they may have fallen to me. I'm going to take a swing at haterating one of these teams though, just to get one on the books. And I will express some doubts in the direction of SMU, I suppose. You know what? It doesn't have to be one of the ones you just took, does it? I can haterade. No. I'm a haterade Arizona State. That conference is just, there's so much parity there that I'm going to go ahead and take a different team this year to when all the dust settles on these teams beating the hell out of each other for an entire regular season, that somebody else ends up being ahead of Arizona State, and that this ends up being a conference that, maybe only has one or, not more than two. And maybe Arizona State is not fortunate this year with, Cam Scatterbo up at with the New York Giants and some of the other losses from that Arizona State team.
He's a member of the Neighbors Think I'm Selling Dope team. So nice. FYI, he's come. He's going to be on the dynasty for forever. I have way too much on the Giants just as a whole in general. I don't know why. Anyway, we're not talking about NFL.
He leaves big shoes to fill, and hopefully for Arizona State, it takes them a year to refill them. But taking my next two picks, I'll go ahead and knock my other non-power conference team out here and take Boise State, who they've obviously got some huge shoes to fill in their backfield with Genty now in Las Vegas, but I'll go ahead and take Boise to survive the Mountain West despite some great challenges this year. UNLV, I think, is going to be interesting with all of their additions through the transfer portal. Shout out LaTerrence Welsh, former Acadiana High star. He had 2 interceptions on Saturday, a guy that started his college career at LSU and then was at Arizona State last year and now he doubled his career interception total on Saturday with a couple in their big win to start the season. And so that'll be my 8th.
Yeah, why don't you just
State.
do your last 2 as well? Because I can't do another 5. I've got my non-power 4 left.
Got you. Okay, sure. I will take BYU as one. Do I want to do that? Do I want to jump down to BYU? Where did I have them in here? I'm gonna take. Oh man, I don't love any of this anymore. I'm gonna take Utah, I guess, and not feel great about it.
Okay.
And I'm gonna take Ole Miss to get another SEC team and close it out because the SEC is just, it's not your big brother's SEC where one team is dominating clearly through the course of it. There are a lot of teams that have a chance to win on any given Saturday, even more so than in the past where it was a deep league. I could certainly see the Rebels getting in there this year. I think they're going to be right on that kind of bubble zone once again, like last year. And we'll see how it goes, man. I don't love either one of these picks, but that's my last 2.
All right. I love that. I love that for me personally. So I'm going to go my 2 power 4. I'm going to pick Toledo. Last year, Toledo beat 2 power 4 teams. They're going to immediately play Kentucky out of the gate. So my pick could be almost bubble busted immediately because that is pretty much, I believe, they're one of their only games versus a power 4 opponent this year. And then the next one, I'm swinging for the fences. I'm going James Madison.
Yeah,
I think second year's the charm. Them finally coming into the FBS. So, yeah, we'll see. Can't wait. College football starts this weekend. Guys, we're so excited about it. We're going to keep you up to date on everything college football, focusing in on these LSU, Tulane, UL, Nichols, Southern, all of those Louisiana teams. We're going to keep you updated on this season. We really can't wait. Football's here. Jared, do you got anything else you want to pump up for the people before we get out of here?
That's about it, man. I'm in anxiety spiral mode as we try to finish off this website. And I say finish off kind of lightly. We're trying to get it launch ready at least. It's going to be a work in progress through this season. A lot of
we'll have more information on that. As soon as it goes live, kids, we're going to have an update on that. We'll give you a link and everything so you can go check out all of the Louisiana versus all y'all content all in one place. It's going to be friggin' great. I cannot wait for it. So yeah, besides that, we'll start with some previews this week, and then football season's off and going. This is going to be great. Can't wait.
Yep. Looking forward to it. Certainly Jamboree week for the high schools, week 1 for the colleges. And then obviously next week we're in the full throes of it with the NFL and high school starting off their regular seasons. And we're just in football mode for months and months now.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Let's get it. And remember, you can go follow, like, share this on the YouTube, and follow Louisiana versus all y'all on LA versus all y'all on Twitter and on Instagram, and PODnas at PODnas_LA on Instagram. We're going to have stuff from the show, stuff from when I got really upset with Jared about not liking my commemorative coin. There'll be all different sorts of stuff on there. So it's going to be fun. We're super excited to get into the swing of football season. Follow us on there. Check us out. Tell everyone that you love about us and everyone that you hate about us too, if you hate us. So it doesn't matter. We want to get you all the stuff. I'm just rambling now. We're going to get out of here. PODnas.